Morning, everyone. Here at the park with my daughter, and as I'm just watching all these kids play and stuff like that, it's pretty cool because there's a large group of kids and they're all just playing together, and it really goes to show that they don't know divide until we show it to them. But with that said, there's more than just trying to say we have to teach our kids better. Um, the same way that the Me Too movement had asked men and the rape culture to start teaching your boys better, then I have to ask from the race culture to start teaching your children better. And as in return, I will teach my children better. Um, but teaching just isn't enough because teaching sometimes is more like lecturing, or it's a very itemized portion of exposure. We all know that we, especially children, learn from watching. Your children probably learned, I know mine did, from watching me use the toilet. That's how they wanted to use the toilet. And you learn brushing your teeth, and you learn certain habits by watching those you trust and are there for you every day. So, with that said, in regards to rape and race, what are we as men showing our daughters in the form of empowering themselves and protecting themselves? What are we in the race culture? I hate using the word race, but in the ethnic and the demographic divide culture, what are we showing them? And I'm going to zero in on that point. What are we showing them in regards to? Are we showing them that we have friends that are of different ethnicities, different walks? Because they're going to see that and want to emulate that. Are we putting them in communities? Um, Even if you live in a certain area, are you going to certain communities? Are you partaking in events where there's a diverse amount of people, where they can make those extensions? Because for the most part, the the place that they can experience the most diversity possibly is school. But if parents aren't following up on that by making play dates, by reaching out and meeting those other parents, then your children are learning that it's staying in the box is the way to go. Stay in your demographic box. And the same thing can be said again, going back to the rape culture. What are we doing to show our daughters and our sons that people should be empowered equally based on gender? What are we doing for our LGBTQ and I believe I brothers and sisters? Are we showing our children that those lifestyles are okay as well? Because look, I understand we've been taught and indoctrinated with a lot of ideologies behind religion and just social norms and acceptances and things like that. But the truth of the matter is, people are here, and our legacy, our greatest legacy for our children, is to leave them in a position to flourish fully in society, and that means with all walks. Teach your children by example, by showing them, by having diverse friends, by allowing them to have diverse friends, by introducing diverse material in your homes through your programming, through your music, through the artists that you follow. It's not just enough to like an athlete or an entertainer of a different demographic, because it pigeonholes into certain ideologies. So perfect example, I guess maybe not perfect, but Doc McStuffins. You can allow your sons to play with the Doc McStuffins doll or use that material as male using female to see that a woman, or a female in this case, is a doctor. And you can also allow white children or non-black children to use that same material to see that this is a reality. There are black women doctors. So how are we teaching? You got to teach by example. Just to tell your kids it's not enough. And we know that because we tell them to do certain things and they don't listen. And then you have to show them, or you have to show them by example. Tying shoes, things like that. Otherwise, kids would just be like, like Alexa, or or Cortana on your computer, where you just tell them and they just know to do it. That's not how it works. I'm going to leave it at that and watch all these kids run around and trust and believe that this message somehow will really resonate with somebody. And if you're not feeling like you're in that demographic or in that area where your demographic bleeds into others, find community events. There's plenty of ways to reach out. And even if they don't end up coming home to dinner with you, it's still enough to show your children that on a consistent basis, you're willing to reach out and extend beyond what they see as norm. Because most of our families probably are one demographic or another. Show them multi layers. Show them multicultures through programming, through movies, through music, through going to events and meeting people and seeing people. So, and if this puts you into a point where you're thinking, oh, that takes me out of my comfort zone, what do we call going to work every day? It's not a comfort zone. You got to get up. You got to leave the house. You got to, go when you don't feel good. You got to do things and answer to people that you may or may not care for. We do so much for our children in the way of taking ourselves out of our comfort zone. Don't make excuses. Don't make excuses. We all continue to grow until the day we leave this planet. So continue to grow. Peace, love, unity, solidarity.